I love this. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be live here in the middle of a Tuesday with you. And I was just talking with Lisa, and Lisa was saying this is her first Facebook Live also. And I mean also in, I did a live yesterday with Ceci talking about the EFT tapping that I do, which is a whole other leg of A Beautiful SurpriZe. I think of like what I do as 3 legs, you know? And so there's the EFT tapping, there's the connective tissue stretching, and then there's Pilates. And Lisa, thank you so much for being here and your first Facebook Live with me. I was like, I'm doing it. I'm pushing the button. It's still semi-terrifying when I push the button, you know, maybe when I make it that kind of energy also. It doesn't have to be. But I like to just pretend like it's just us talking, like we were talking just a moment ago in the back end. And I was asking you questions, you know, and I was asking you, like, for example, what's off limits? You know, because when you come into, I think, any wellness studio, you tend to be your guards up somewhat, you know, and at least that's what I see from people come in. And unfortunately, usually when people come in, it's kind of like their last straw. Like, I've tried all the other things. I guess I'll try this Pilates that my doctor keeps telling me about and my neighbor keeps telling me about. Right, the title of this is, oh, I don't see the title. But anyways, the purpose of this live is to talk with someone, and Lisa's story is so similar to so many other people that I teach in Pilates, in that she literally drove for her first session with me from her surgeon's office, right, to talk about the potential of surgery, because she had been in chronic pain for 9.5 months or so, right, Lisa? And kind of exhausted other avenues. And you get to a point where you're just like, I got to do something, or, you know, surgery. And then, of course, there's also on the other side of that, some people have gone through surgery and PT, and then they're looking for Pilates. And really what my goal is to try and bring awareness to what Pilates actually is, and that it can be completely preventative all the way up to the rehabilitation, kind of like we were talking about just before. So as we're getting ready to kind of just chat here with Lisa, I would love it if you are watching right now live. I can see a few of you hopping on. If you would maybe, do you see that, Lisa? Like, you're, oh my gosh, people are watching. I was just kidding. No one's watching. It's just us. Maybe, like, you know, tag a friend, a family member, someone that you know that has tried other workouts, has tried other things, and is just in chronic pain and don't have a formal diagnosis, or even if you do, it's something that, you know, I've been teaching now for 18 years. So it's really rare that someone comes in and has a diagnosis that I haven't seen before and I haven't been able to help before, ever. And so that gives me like a lot of like I was going to say selfishly, but it is selfish. Like, it's the job satisfaction that I have as a personal trainer and as a Pilates teacher is amazing, because I'm able to help people and to see you come in and go from chronic pain into now you are prepping for advanced Pilates work. Yeah.
I'm going to do a few private sessions, but yes.
We'll get you there. Yeah, that's what it's for. All right, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and just let Lisa, if you would introduce yourself, maybe say, you know, a little bit about how you even heard about Pilates or what you knew about Pilates. I think what would help is, you know, this live really is for people that are kind of thinking, I need something and I'm not sure what it is, and where is my home that can help me with like the full mind, body, spirit connection. And so maybe if you could just talk a little bit about that, as well as to why you decided to even try A Beautiful SurpriZe.
Okay. So as Chantel said, my name's Lisa, and about a year ago, maybe a little over a year, I just woke up with a really stiff neck one morning, and I kept doing my regular routine. I was working out at Orange Theory at the time, and it just kept progressively, the pain kept getting worse and worse. And so after 2 more weeks, I went to the doctor. They put me on muscle relaxers and steroids and said, you'll be fine in 3 weeks, and no big deal. 3 weeks came and went. Then I went and had an MRI. And so there was a few other things going on in my neck that was, you know, a bulging disc, and my neck's curving the wrong way, and it was causing nerve pain, and it was exhausting. Like, I was exhausted. So they said, go meet with a surgeon. And that took another 6 to 8 weeks to get into. And at this point, I'd been dealing with this pain for 3 or 4 months and literally was just in bed. I was trying to do other things, just normal daily routine, but it was really tiring. And I tried steroid shots and they were good. And then after 4 to 6 weeks, everything would be back. And chiropractors, same thing, would help for a day or two, and then the pain would be right back in my back and down my arm. And so I was asking other people. I don't know a ton of people that experience back and neck pain, but they were like, try yoga. I tried yoga. It was okay for me. Maybe it was just where I was at in my pain level. I couldn't do a lot of the movements. And so then I had another friend that said, try reformer Pilates. And so I just Googled reformer Pilates and then called Chantel, or Chantel answered the phone, and I was just like, this is what I'm looking for. I'd been doing physical therapy, and that did help calm things down. And I still have exercises that I do from the physical therapist every day to help manage the pain or keep the pain away, along with Pilates. And so, yeah, A Beautiful SurpriZe came up, and then I called Chantel and we met. And surgery is not an option for me right now due to my age and some other factors. And so it was like, good luck, come back in 20 years and figure it out. That was kind of how it went at the surgeon's office.
Yeah, and then out you go.
Mm-hmm. That's a little like your hope is a little bit thinking you're going to be able to get out of pain, or maybe there's something they can do for you. You kind of become very defeated at that point of, okay, what else can I do? What else can I try? Changing my diet has helped, less sugar. It's been like a whole learning process, to say the least.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Like, so what's coming up for me too is what you said at the very, very beginning also, where you just woke up with it one morning, and you know, and I hear this all the time. People are working out and they wake up the next morning. They're like, I didn't do anything different in my workout routine. Nothing like stood out to me, but I woke up in the morning and I couldn't move. I couldn't even get out of bed sometimes, you know? And that's so typical. And of course, like I refer you to your doctor and your surgeon and, you know, wherever else that might be. But as long as there's like no formal diagnosis that says I absolutely shouldn't work with you, you know, I have some other trainings and certifications beyond Pilates that allows me to then work with someone that is just cleared for physical therapy, for example, where you might not be cleared to do Pilates. So it does, it gives me an advantage in a sense that when you come in and you tell me you have, you know, these other kind of issues that have been going on for so long, and then I have the track record of being able to help people also, that I know how to help you. And so, this is why you're the first person that I've ever done this live with from the Pilates world, or my Pilates studio. And the reason why is because, you know, I love that you walked in kind of not even really knowing what Pilates was. And you were just like kind of open to it. You're open to it, but you're also kind of hesitant, right? Because my proprietary method is bringing people in and going for 30 private sessions over 3 months. And you were like, can we just do 1 month? You know, let me just like dip my toes. Let me see, because I remember having a conversation about the other places you'd called around to, and they'd promised you all sorts of different things. And as you were telling me this, Lisa, honestly, in the back of my head, I was thinking, well, I can do that. I can do that, but I'm not going to make you those promises. I'd rather just show you them over time. You know, so like, that 1 month turned into 3. And now you are here. So it will be on the 11th. So in another week, it'll be 4 months. And what's so cool is after your very first Pilates session, right? Yes. The pain moved after being there, like stuck and chronically stuck right between your shoulder blades for 9.5 months. Like you said, exhausted. And again, I've been given permission by Lisa to talk about this. You know, I never share information privately about anyone unless I'm given permission. And to go from, I have to go lay down in the afternoon because the pain is exhausting, into one Pilates session, and the pain moved. And to me, and it had lessened also, right? It had moved upwards and it had also lessened. And so to me, that's like, aha, if it's movable, it's movable, it's movable, it's movable to get out of your body. And it's, that's where the EFT comes in. Also, my intuition that I use, that I pull in when I'm teaching Pilates as well, is that it's really kind of stuck energy. And so we're talking about the tangible bones, tendons, ligaments, muscles, everything else, the nerves that you're actually feeling in the connective tissue. But also it's the energy of, I have to go lay down in the afternoon, and then I'm not there with my kids, and I can't do the normal everyday stuff that you really want to do. And then that starts to weigh on us in like emotionally, in a psychologically kind of way. And it's this never ending kind of unfortunate loop that just keeps happening over and over again. And that's really kind of like part of the method that I have created around Pilates and the other things that I do in the studio, to be able to have you come in and strip that all away, so to speak, like an onion peel, right? We're just peeling back the layers. So how many sessions was it, do you think, that until we got it all the way down where I think you came in, was it right around maybe 4 or 5 sessions? And you said that the pain was like maybe a 0.5, like if you think about it, you can feel it. Was it about that many?
It moved, I think, just about 2 weeks. I'd been coming in almost every day at that point, because I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Like, let's put some time into this and see if it's going to work. So I think it was about 2.5 weeks, going at least 5 times a week. I guess it wasn't every day because I wasn't going 7, but I was going at least 5 times like that first month.
Yeah, that's what I mean, that I love about you also, is you walked in, you're like, all right, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And that's the hashtag that I created for everyone here. I'll see if I can put the banner down below that says, if you want to type in #ready. Oh, there we go. I'm amazed at this technology that I can do sometimes. Yeah, but if you want to #ready, exclamation point or not, I'll be able to find it, but you need to put the hashtag before it so I can find your comment. And I am opening up my my private session, or my private training ability. How do I want to say that? I'm opening up my schedule for 2 more spots to do private sessions for the rest of the month of March, because I am operating now nearly at capacity, but having those 2 spots. If you hashtag there ready, we can have a conversation. We can talk about, ready meaning you're saying, like, if you're taking the time to type in ready, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to make this commitment, this monetary commitment, this time commitment. Like you said, 5 times a week. To some people watching this right now might be like, whoa, I have no time, right? When you're in pain and you can't get out of bed, of course you feel like that. Like, not that you couldn't get out of bed, but like you said, you're going to rest. And so of course we feel like that, like, where am I going to find this time? And the beauty of what I teach also is you just come in one time, and that energy carries over, and that energy creates more energy of feeling better. Feeling better leads into twice a week, into 3 times a week. And that's really what I tell people, start with. Commit to 3 times a week. You had the membership where you could come in every single day. And so, you commit to 3 times a week. And for so many people, they start and they think, all right, like, I'll try, like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to find 3 times a week on my schedule. Classes are 50 minutes long. And if you join us virtually, that's literally 50 minutes. But then it goes into, how do I find the time to do this? Into literally, this is the highlight of my day. I look forward to this. I schedule everything else around my Pilates. I put it on my work calendar as a meeting so no one else overschedules my Pilates. And I love that. I love that it's kind of that 180, but I see it all the time. And so, yeah, it's that energy creates more energy. And so, unfortunately, when we are in pain, we kind of succumb to that, and it creates more pain, and like on the emotional level. Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of guilt because I was just down so much. Like, the kids were doing a lot more, which was good for them, but I was like, I can't do all this stuff. What am I doing here? So yeah, a lot of guilt when I was down like that.
Yeah, of course. And I think that's a really common thing. It's the mom guilt, right? I should be down there with my kids right now, while making them an after school snack, or just to be with them or help them with their homework or whatever it might be. It's the mom guilt that we can all give ourselves. And truly what I teach I mean, through Pilates, but also through the emotional freedom techniques, is that the more we care for ourselves, then the more we're actually able to care for our families and to be able to give to our families. And it takes a while to embody that as well, or not, through tapping. Like it might be in one session, that we have this aha moment. You're like, oh, well, that makes sense, Yeah. So is there anything, I love this conversation. Like I could talk about this all the time. Is there anything else you can think of? I mean, the purpose of this live really was to just, like I told you, Lisa, and I know someone is going to be watching this, or they know someone that is in the exact same boat that you were, and, living in chronic pain and feeling like there's just, I'm just going to suck it up. I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep living in this pain. And I guess that's a choice, but the hashtag ready there is then signifying that you're ready to make a change. You're ready to feel better. And it's hard to say when someone is in so much pain that I can help you, I can get you there. And in a pretty short period of time. I usually say like the longer, the deeper rooted the issue is, the longer it might take to get you there. But between the 3 pillars that I teach, sometimes it's in the very first session. Sometimes we have what we call one-hit wonders, and we do a Rasa and EFT, and maybe some Pilates, and you never feel that pain again, ever. So I don't know. I guess I'm picking your brain a little bit to see what was it for you that felt like, all right, I'm going to go in. You'd made that decision, kind of like the guilt had got to you enough. And then what was it that you had decided, okay, I'm going to commit to this for this full month. And then at the month's end, yeah, this is it. I need to do more of this.
For me, it was trying to figure out how to get out of pain, knowing that there was no surgical option for me for a while, and not wanting to still be in that pain. It was like, okay, there's going to be something else. It's just keeping that hope and trying to keep trying new things. And like I said, there was lots of other things that I had tried in the 9 months before I'd met Chantel. But finally, this was the thing that helped. I was still walking as much as I could. So I was still trying to stay as active as I could, but I just kept feeling like there's just something else I needed to do to bring me to that next level to get out of pain. But I just didn't know what it was for me. And it ended up being Pilates.
Yeah.
And I have done some EFT tapping, and that was really helpful too. To just maybe, for me, I was like, okay, this is a genetic thing. So it's, maybe hereditary. It just got passed down. My neck is kind of curved the wrong way. And just maybe thinking about things differently, whether that changes anything or not, physically, mentally, it made a difference for me.
Love that. Okay, because we did not talk about that you had done EFT with me, so I didn't want to mention it. But yeah, now that you mentioned that, that's absolutely true. We think that, well, this is my DNA. This is what I've been handed in life. But we now know that that's not necessarily true. And there's all sorts of things that we'll get into with that, like that's the route you want to go down. But that's exactly what you're touching on right here, is that, yeah, there is like the actual physical stacking of the bones and the tendons, all of that, and your DNA. And there's also so much more that science also has proven recently that we can get into. And that's what we were talking about, that just like that kind of the click, like, oh, and sometimes that's all we need. And like you said, that's what gets us out of pain. I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't even think of it that way. And by tapping, we can then calm the amygdala long enough that it's ready to receive and accept some of these newer thoughts. But again, I feel like I tread the line somewhat on, like, these are newer thoughts, but they're also scientifically proven. So when you have someone that thinks like, well, I still want the proof, and sometimes that's me. Sometimes I want to see show me the docs.
Yeah.
And sometimes not. And sometimes I just go completely off of, my woo-ness, I guess, my intuition. Yeah, thank you so much for saying that and for sharing that as well, because it really is the 3-parter. And I'm also really only it's almost like an application process at this point. So like you hashtag ready, And I'm really interested, and I'm open to teaching people that are open to all of the modalities to completely step into the next level of what they really want in life. You know, whether that's a really strong body, whether that's getting out of pain, whether that's taking them to the next step in their business. You know, the sky's the limit when it comes to that stuff. Releasing the mom guilt, right? That's a big one for us. Yeah. Okay, I have one more question for you, and then I'll let you like just share if there's something else that's coming up for you. What do you feel like if you compare yourself right now, like in a good comparison, right? How you're feeling right now after doing Pilates for not even quite 4 months to how you felt maybe in your, like, let's say pre pain, before the 9 months, where you're doing the other kind of workouts on a regular basis, you know, and kind of like if you could kind of compare and contrast, so to speak, as to what Pilates does for you in particular versus the other kind of workouts that you were doing before.
Okay, that's a good question. So Pilates for me is a good workout. It took me, I would say, a full month to actually get my mind to be able to work my body out and just learning all the exercises to do. The first 2 or 3 weeks, like the pain had moved, and it felt so much better just to have it move, even though it was still there. It just was a huge relief to have it move. And so once it moved, and then it started calming down even more, it made it so that I could really use my mind to focus my body and work my body and muscles harder. But after the workouts, I wasn't exhausted. When I was doing Orange Theory or running, I was exhausted for the rest of the day. I would mentally be okay, but physically I was drained. I would just try and eat more food to make up the difference in the amount of energy that I had expended. I still had like the endorphin high from working out, but it was like taking a toll, I think, on my body, and I wasn't realizing it. I wasn't listening to my body when I was working out like that, versus with Pilates, you really have that opportunity to listen to your body even during the exercises and be able to challenge yourself if you want to, and not challenge yourself if you don't feel like it that day. So when Chantel told me when I first talked to her, no, this is something you could do every day, I was like, there's no way. Like, because I was used to thinking how I was working out before I'd kind of been injured. And I was like, there's no way. Like, how is that possible? And then after I came and did it, I was like, okay, I see this. But it did take me a month to be able to actually feel like I was getting a workout. Just that learning process for me, that's how long it took. And now I can go and after I'm not exhausted, but I'm like, okay, I have that endorphin kind of high from exercising and that feeling good and everything. So
yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, thank you for like that is very distinct, right? Because I mean, so I am a runner, and when I run, I'm exhausted after. You know, I hobbled around last night because I ran a little bit too fast, getting back into my training. But what I know is that in order to keep running for myself, I have to be doing my Pilates. And if I don't, I get injured every single freaking time. And so then when you have someone that doesn't do Pilates, this is my opinion, you're in that chronic, kind of what you said, you're in that grinding, you know, the other kind of workouts that are out there. But in my opinion, it really is Pilates is the base for all of that. So as long as you're doing Pilates, it keeps you really healthy. It really is the way that we push and we pull. And like you said, the mind-body connection that makes this workout system so much different than anything else I've ever discovered. I started as a personal trainer, you know, years and years ago. And I would start pulling people over and doing Pilates, whether they were injured, whether they were the elite athletes that I was working with, no matter what. And I was like, well, dang it, you know, why don't I just, and that's when I started focusing more on Pilates. So yeah, you're right. That's what I tell people also is there's a learning curve, and it feels at the first like this is a very fundamental kind of thing, but give me a minute, give yourself a minute. And you will be so grateful that you built up these, like the building blocks into the foundations, into getting into the advanced Pilates where you're getting into now. Because then it becomes, if you don't have that foundation, if you don't have the mind-body connection, it becomes very dangerous when you're doing the Pilates exercises. If your mind starts to go somewhere else, you start to think about your grocery list, you start to think about, you know, your to-do list or whatever. You could fall, and it could be very, very dangerous. And so that's what I love about it. It's like this internal workout from the inside out. You know, you start to feel better, so much better on the inside. Like you said, your energy is actually more from it. And then you start to notice the other things, you know, like on the outside of your body, you start to notice more muscle tone. You start to notice more of the other things that happen over time. But really, more than anything, doing this for the mental, the emotional aspects of it, hands down, you know,
Yes.
other stuff is bonus.
Yes. And also another thing that you said that helped remind me is I have learned, or I'm just subconsciously holding my body in positions like when I'm vacuuming so that I don't get into pain, or if I'm cleaning out my car and I'm bending over. For me, bending over is like not a position that my body likes to be in, but I can hold myself now in a position where it's not causing me pain, or I'm not going to pay for that 3 or 4 days later, being down or having the nerve pain come back. So maybe I'm doing it thinking about it, but really I'm not anymore, not at this point. At first I was really trying to think about it in the activities I was doing around my house, or, you know, loading the groceries into the car. And now it's just automatic. It just automatically comes, and I don't have to think about it.
Which is the whole goal. This is why I'm doing this, is that people can live their lives, you know, and not have to worry. So when it becomes like there's no more conscious thought that I'm going to hurt myself, I'm having to protect myself, you know, but which is unconscious at first, like your subconscious is doing it, like you said. When that no longer is there and it goes away, and you're just living your life, and you're just, you know, picking up the 50-pound bags of dog food or whatever it is, you know, that's where like that's what it's about. You know, and I mean, we can't really foresee what Mr. Pilates intended with his method, and we can read what he wrote and the videos that we have of his, but that's what I feel like that really is it's return to life. It's about, that's the name of one of the books that he wrote, is like, how do I live my life in the best way possible? And, you know, without having to think I'm going to get hurt or I'm going to be injured, I have to protect myself. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Is there anything else you can think of that you'd like to share?
Chantel is great. She is very knowledgeable, and she can teach you anything about Pilates that you want to know. So if you are on the fence, just take a chance and definitely book an appointment with her. She's very good at what she does. So I'm grateful for you.
Thank you so much. That's really kind. I didn't mean for that, but I'll take it. So I'll run that one more time. The hashtag ready, you know, I have 2 spots. It could be you. You could be Lisa here, you know, your version of your Lisa in 4 months, and go from, you know, maybe you're just feeling like low energy. Maybe you're just feeling kind of stuck. Maybe you're just kind of feeling like, I don't know, I keep trying to do, you know, my old routine and it's just not working. But yeah, that's kind of my specialty, is taking you from wherever you're at into a pretty quick progressive way, and getting you feeling better than you ever really you know, one of my taglines used to be getting you feeling better than you did in your 20s. Yeah, and it's still true. I don't know why I don't use that anymore, but I definitely feel better than I did in my 20s.
You know, you have a little bit more ways to go, but yes.
3 more classes. I'm just kidding. Alrighty. Thank you so much, Lisa, for doing this. My very first person to talk about Pilates here, and your first live. I so appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. All right, everyone. I'm going to leave that ticker running, but go ahead, comment down below, and I'll see you soon. Okay, Lisa, so I'm going to hit the end broadcast.